Horizon Chess, home Sig, and this is inside the Army's new 6.8mm next gen squad weapon. Yeah, this is the older video than the latest one, which was like a year ago. Watched about like how that was Sig Sauer is the one who's like developing it. Before it was like multiple companies that were like putting bids. That's how it usually goes, right? So they're going with like a big weapon, with a bigger caliber. So I'm guessing this video will talk about ammo more than the weapon itself. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, this is from the channel Task and Purpose. I like Task and Purpose. I like this channel based on like how many military things he covers. He's a former soldier or infantryman or something. So I'm guessing he has connections and things. He knows about things a lot, right? Every time he explains things really well, I guess he researches well. He knows how to make good videos. So yeah, this is just combination of those things. It just gives you best channel, I guess. Obviously, Fire Nutrition is like untouchable for what he does. But yeah, Task and Purpose is like all the challenge combined into one, right? If you combine like real engineering, Fire Nutrition, and many other channels, and if you want just one channel for all that, Task and Purpose would be the one. So let's watch this one. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't subscribe. So I know which type of videos to react to more. I've been doing these military videos a lot recently because yeah, wherever my interest peak, I usually that's what I watch. There's no theme or something, right? I watch lots of different type of video, right? There's no one genre, like anything that might interest me, I usually react to it. Right now it's military things. So if you haven't seen other reactions to Task and Purpose, Fire Nutrition, things like that, there's a link in the description. There you can find it, or at the end card. There YouTube will probably recommend you or something. I'm Instagram now. If you want to follow me, like what I've been up to daily or some shit, it's also a link in the description. Let's watch it.
Let's dive into the details of what we know so far with the 3 future weapons programs that will eventually replace the 5.56 and
Oh, so Sig Sauer is the one they went with. Sig Sauer feels like, okay, this, I bet, they just looked at the weapon, they like, yeah, this feels more American. Well, this looks like what, like, better version of like AR or something. Look at that, right? If I were to think like what a future weapon of America looks, it basically looks like Sig Sauer or something, right? It's like it's one of those weapons that you play Call of Duty or something. It's like a, whatever they call NATO class weapon. I don't know what they call it, right? With 5.56 ammo, that's how it looks. Right, I forgot the name of the weapon that I'm thinking of right now. That's why I'm saying it all this way. So yeah, and General Dynamics looks a bit different. I guess it's bullpup. Yeah, General Dynamics is bullpup again, and there's like Textron, which I don't know. But yeah.
16 family of weapons. We found some new, incredible animations from the inner workings of the Textron bid, created from their rifle patent plans. I did all the research and consolidated it here for you. I'm Chris Cappy, former Army veteran, and this is Task and Gear. Here's the big takeaway. The new round will be slightly heavier, fly at a faster velocity, and if all goes according to plan, it will allow troops to engage the enemy at greater distances with more lethality. Of the original companies in the running for the bid, only 3 remain: Sig Sauer, General Dynamics, and Textron. The losers who were tossed out of the running in September are FN America and PCP Tactical. Better luck next time in 60 years when the military is looking for a new next generation weapon. Each one of the bids is made up of 3 different weapon systems. We have a replacement for the M16 carbine, a replacement for the M249 SAW, and last but not least, a replacement for the 7.62 firing M240 Lima. And that's the artist formerly known as the M240 Bravo if you come from my era. The first 2 are 6.8mm firing, and the last is a 338 Norma Magnum, which is a step up from the 7.62. First up is the Textron bid. I do like a lot of things about this bid. It weighs less, the ammo weighs less. Beautiful looking piece of weaponry. There are some high-speed advances here with an electric mechanical trigger. The spent casing is brought down and ejected while the fresh round is brought up, opposed to a conventional firearm where the round is
Electric mechanical. Look, I get it, like future is all electric. It's already happening in like everyday things. But I don't know, when it comes to weapon reliability, I don't think you should put electrics only there, especially knowing like how bad conditions weapons have to be. Electrics don't like all the dust and crap, so I don't know.
Brought directly from the magazine into the chamber and then ejected straight from there. This appears to have been added as a few extra steps, and I would be curious about the rate of fire with this. Does that extra movement slow it down at all? Let's put this side by side with what we're replacing. The old M16. Look at how different this works on the inside. It looks like an alien compared to the M16. The charging handle is moved from its usual position to the front of the weapon. You have to move the bolt to the rear by doing this instead of this. I think I'll need a 6-hour briefing on how to operate this thing. I'm sure the Army will come up with one. In the firing mechanism, we have a lot more moving parts than usual going on within the guts of the weapon. The reason for complex systems probably has something to do with the caseless telescoped ammo that it fires. So I don't want to be a grandpa here saying, look at this weapon, it's too damn complicated. But it looks complicated. Cleaning that thing looks like it'd be an absolute nightmare. Guys, Q-tips boxes only come in 1,000, and it looks like I'd need a solid 15,000 Q-tips to clean the sand out of that thing. To be fair, complexity can sometimes equal better. Other times, it means Joe will be able to destroy the thing very quickly by dropping it because it's too delicate of a flower for him to be trampling on. I've seen Joe destroy just about everything you can think of with the back of a striker ramp. Kevlars, weapons, crushed. Not that having a less complicating firing mechanism would save it from being crushed by the ramp of a striker, so that might be a bad analogy. With this bid, we're using caseless telescope plastic rounds. That'll save you about 40% in.
Look at AK-47, right? It's one of the most simplistic mechanical thing, and that's why it's like one of the most reliable thing by everybody, right? Everybody just like praises for that specific thing. Like, look, complicated is good. Like German engineering, that's their whole thing. And come on, like there have been problems with German, but we all agree like German engineering has always been that, like that kind of better. Even today, you want to buy something, you're probably gonna buy some, German application or something, right? Bosch or something. So yeah, I don't know. Yes, it can be problematic when the shit hits the fan, but most of the time it'd be really good. But we are talking about survival here, right? We are talking about like national security shit and whatever. You don't want something failing, right? Even you need to make something that just works. You can't add shit that might be just a tad bit too complicated. Somebody can't even like, okay, your average infantryman, you don't need to give something like that to him. Like some specialized guy, like some spec op type of guy who would like train for shit, it makes sense, but not to like your average infantry.
Ammo weight, but I'm heavily skeptical about the reliability of the plastic ammo. The new design, they claim, will not fold under heat, but that's yet to be seen. The carbine is similar to the M16 family in terms of the look and feel of the weapon. The problem I'm having though is getting past the strange bulkiness. When I first looked at the rifle, I couldn't understand why it looked bulky. But it's because there's a lot going on the inside as seen in the animation. Just because something lighter doesn't mean it's easier to use though. First thing I can think of is how annoying it would be to mount your PEC 15, your optics, your flashlight, all your cool guy gear on there, and then you try to sit in an MRAP or a striker. Good luck fitting in a vehicle or easily getting yourself unstuck from every wire in there while you trip over yourself. Then you get out only to get back in a minute later. Hurry up and wait. Before we tap the Sig Sauer bid, I want everyone to keep in mind that this is technically not an official replacement for the 5.56 M16, not yet anyway. The plan here is for the Army to procure 100,000 of the new weapon system from one of these three prototypes by 2022, and they're going to be seeing how it works before getting married to it. The Army's last relationship with the weapon was like 60 years long, so you can understand that it's difficult for them to do a change like that. Even though I know they've been seeing other weapons on the side for years. I'm looking at you, FN Scar, you home wrecker. Why are they doing this? In 2010, Congress initiated an...
I mean, you can't compare Scar with M16, can you? Scar L, I think, sure. Scar H is like, I think the most Scar is Scar H, right? That's like a Winchester 308 equivalent round, right? Is it like Winchester 308 or something like that? I don't exactly remember. But yeah, so it's like a big ammo, right? Like with a really ballistic power, but you can't fire that fast like M16. So it's just like trade-off type of way. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, they're going for 6.8 millimeter, right? But isn't like Winchester 308 round close to like a 7 something? So isn't that like better? I don't know. Like if you want like slow firing weapon, don't you already have Scar H? Why do you need this new one? I don't know.
Investigation of the performance of the M4, its pros, its cons, and if they had a reason to replace it. A summary of the report says that while there may have been concerns raised by some of the M4's reliability and lethality, studies suggest that the M4 is performing well and is viewed favorably by the users. However, the Army is undertaking the individual carbine competition to conduct an open competition among small arms manufacturers for follow-up weapons. The small arms capability-based assessment found that many of the problems facing the M4 were solved by changing to a different improved ammo type, better optics, and more reliable magazines. It's true that many feed issues with the M4 can be traced to unreliable magazines. However, even though the M4 has a lot of love for it among all branches, the military is looking to replace it, have overmatch capabilities going into the future. The weapons development program will cost $10 million the first year and an estimated $150 million a year after that. The rifles need to be able to deliver both a high pressure test round, loaded 20% higher than normal pressure, and this is so that they can stress the rifle barrel and breech during firing. Apparently, it said somewhere in the contract to make sure the suppressor looks like a Coke bottle stuck on the end of your rifle too. Thanks, General Dynamics. Before we go into the 6-hour bid, real quick, please remember to subscribe to our channel.
Seriously, how many of them design something specifically just so it can look cool or whatever, based on like video games and Call of Duty and shit like that? Even though they could have made it look different and they would have done the job, but they specifically made this. I don't know. They must have done that, right? They must have like made some design choices so it looks awesome, right? You think like they're making gun, like they're mostly just like, you know, mechanical reason, like how to make it best. I'm pretty sure like visual also has to go there. They still have to please these senators and God knows what, all the people, defense people, right? So they must have done something. I don't know.
So we can see each other again. We do rundowns like this every week. Now let's go to everyone's favorite bid, Sig Sauer. The M68 from them is the M249 replacement. It's fully auto, belt fed from a 200 round drum. This submission admittedly won my heart. Two things stuck out to me: the reciprocating barrel design and the new optic. The barrel will now move with each shot to balance out the recoil forces. This has pros and cons. The weapon is more accurate, but it has a slower rate of fire. If you ask me, those are actually both positives because you don't need a higher rate of fire if you're putting accurate rounds downrange. The bid at its core is about the new advanced ammo and the energy it brings to the table. The proprietary new round is a steel/brass hybrid instead of the plastic-cased ammo that the other companies are bringing to the table. The base of the ammo where the primer is struck is made of steel. This allows it to be more reliable with a higher lethality. The energy can be increased dramatically because of the steel base. The rest of the ammo is made of a standard brass, with a clip inside to connect the two. Sig claims the energy is increased by a factor of 50 to 60% while reducing the weight by 20%. The machine gun has for too long been too heavy. Comment below if you think I'm a spaghetti-armed weakling. I'm Italian, I can say that. Now this new M68 machine gun is 12 pounds, while still...
Yeah, weight is a factor, right? You think like, oh, I can lift that. Can you like traverse long distances in bad condition if need be, right? I still remember people talking about like how big ass machine guns and like beret, sniper rifle and things like that. People literally take it apart and carry like parts amongst themselves rather than one guy carrying it because it's so heavy. It's one thing to say like, okay, I can just carry like 25 pounds, you know, here and there. No, you can't. You can't just take 25 pounds like for miles and whatever. God knows where you have to walk, which condition you have to walk.
Reducing the level of recoil closer to an M16. Sig Sauer has not mentioned the recoil on the carbine version, or if it's reliable enough to reduce recoil effectively with the 6.8mm round. Another advantage that this weapon has is the ergonomics are the most similar to all the bids with the M16, which would mean less of a shock to Joe when he picks it up from his supply sergeant for the first time. We all know Joe, he would pick up the bullpup rifle and not know which way to point the barrel for at least a few years. The new optic from Sig Sauer that comes along with these weapons have some really impressive capabilities. Up to 1,200 meters out with the 338 machine gun, you can first laze the target and the system will put the first round on target after that. The military has held the position that they would not replace their current weapons until there was a significant enough leap in technology to justify the massive cost of replacing all the weapons. I think that these bids are getting closer and closer to that point. Sig Sauer worked up a replacement for the M240 as well. The number one feature of the replacement is the 338 round. And I guess that they figured it wasn't fair to up the firepower of the 5.56 to 6.8 and then not replace the 7.62 with an upped 338, which falls somewhere between the 7.62 and the 50 cal.
Yeah, I mean, 7.62 is close to like 308, right? 3 something. This is like a bit bigger than that. Yeah, but in the latest video he made, I watched before this, then they say like they're gonna keep the gun, not gonna change it, but they're just gonna modify the barrel to accommodate the ammo.
This prototype, while firing a larger round, still only weighs 19 pounds. This is a very exciting update. The energy on target is similar to a 50 cal. Last but not least is the General Dynamics bid. New 6.8mm next generation squad weapon, or NGSW, not to be confused with NSFW, which my coworkers are constantly telling me to stop looking at. And what I do on my lunch hour is my own business. It's significantly different than the others.
Technically, when you're on lunch break, you're not working, are you? So it's not suitable for work, but you're not at work. You're at the building, but you're not working at least.
going for a bullpup design with their weapon, and I know that there's a lot of hate for the European bullpup design, especially because word on the street is the British and everyone else who fields the bullpup do not like the awkward reload because the magazine is behind the pistol grip in the rear, which makes reloading while laying down a hassle. Seriously, I have to have the magazine stuck up in my armpit. We're gonna have a bunch of troops with stinky magazines. Is that really what you want? I'll just do what I always do and spray it with Axe body spray, the old G.I. Joe shower. With this design, it means a longer barrel while still having a shorter length in overall for the...
Yeah, I think bullpup would make you like a bit uncomfortable while you're firing, because firing is very close to your body, right? And even though you vibration, you would feel a lot. But I think it would be kind of accurate, wouldn't it? I don't know. Didn't Brandon Herrera make a video? I don't know if I watched that or not. I would check that out.
Rifle, because firing mechanism has been moved to the rear of the rifle near the buttstock, right where you place your face, which isn't fun to be firing the rounds when they're going off right next to your face with this different design. They're going with an entirely polymer case for their ammo as opposed to the steel base or telescoped ammo. So each developer is coming to the plate with a different style of ammo entirely. The polymer ammo is developed separately from General Dynamics in a partnership with True Velocity Ammo. The ammo looks great. It saves weight. It absolutely is revolutionary. This makes the decision even harder because all the weapons have...
No, it's not. You don't just go off with what ammo is better. You have to go with, like, is it practical? Like, can we invest that much money into building that in that like kind of large number? We are talking about like giving it to your infantrymen soldiers. You will need a lot of ammo for the future, and that is the ammo you'll have to go with since this is the weapon you are taking. So can you build that? Is the resources are there? Which is easier to build when it needs to be for whatever reason, war happens or whatever.
Their pros and their cons. Some save more weight in ammo or save more weight with the rifle. Since the Army usually plays a relatively safe game, I would be surprised if they went with something that is so untested as the caseless ammo, but I'm sure they'll be tempted to go with it because of the huge reduction in weight. Which development bid do you like the best? Which design do you think will win out with the all-seeing, all-knowing Army top brass? We'll have to wait and see which old skull and bones friend...
Yeah, we know that Sig Sauer is replacing M4, right? Yeah, that was the video. Yeah, this is an older video compared to that one, but yeah. This is really insane, right? Like this kind of a drastic change. You hear about these prototype things, people think like, come on, that's not gonna happen. It's really hard to make large scale changes, right? 5.56 has been the thing for a long ass time. Changing that to 6.8 completely obviously is gonna take gradual, but yeah, I can see like 10-15 years from now most weapon they have like will have 6.8 ammo. That's something. Yes, people argue like, okay, 6.8 is gonna be issue, this and that is heavier, it can shoot faster, it will be an issue, this and that. Yeah, there is always going to be pros and cons with everything, but it will depend. The future, you need to have a powerful weapon. But then again, why doesn't Scar H work? It's a Winchester 308 round or something like that, right? That would be close to, that's like something 7 point something, right? It's also 7.60 type of way. I'm pretty sure like .308 is in 7.60 something by, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's something like that, like the machine gun ammo. It would be similar to that, I think. But why do you need 6.8 if not Scar H? I don't know. Alright, well, that was the Inside the Army's new 6.8mm next gen squad weapon by the channel Task and Purpose. If you like my reaction, do subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next time.